All right, so it is Wednesday, May 16th, 2018, 7:04, almost 7:02, 7:03. Um, so I haven't made a video blog for a bit, and I wanted to make one. Um, but I don't know, so I'm not sure what I want to talk about. My brain's kind of halfway going. So if you can hear, like, real life is taking precedence over talking on the internet. But I want to continue this stuff. So what's been happening? Been working at this factory over in Orville. Just got a temporary temp job. So did like 3 days, 12-hour shifts for rush, and like $11 an hour or something like that. So the pay over here is not as good as it is in the Bay Area, but the cost of living is much cheaper. So the good thing about that is, you know, it's just some experience. It's weird because I keep thinking, like, what the hell, like, because I went to school forever and then doing art stuff, so it was like, so doing like these normal jobs, it's like, man, like, how did I not know about these factory jobs? And I think what happened was that they weren't available. Like, either I was too young or what. Like, I think the temp agency really opened up a lot of doors for the normal workers, which is good for us, for American economy. They were talking about this other thing where there's these like 1-day jobs or whatever. So it's, so I think a lot of people in this new generation, and even through my generation, they didn't want to settle for like a worker man career, other than construction and whatnot. So, but people need money, so I think like these part-time jobs work for people that are seeking education and not knowing what they're gonna settle into for like a 20-year career. But anyways, it worked for me. It's working for me. I think they're saying that there's a lot of labor work for Americans at this time, so that's pretty good. But as of late, yeah, hard work and jobs at a opportunity. So that's kind of what's happening with me at the moment. Artistically, I got to finish up a lot of stuff that freed me up a lot as well. I didn't get to finish all my paintings, but I did get to finish up a lot of my computer work, which was like my comics and art posters and projects, personal projects like that, like poetry book. I'm still working on a couple of those, but had written when Facebook was going on. I was a little bit more free, so I would like post like poems. I would just write poems and post them on the internet, and you post them on Facebook, and then save them on Facebook, and then, but I never really like I wasn't able to like put them together or nothing. I was still working on my comic book stuff, which was years and years before, so that was kind of a goal that I needed to get done. So finally got a lot of work done, and now I finally reached the workflow of the poetry stuff. So putting all that stuff together, even going way back to these poetry poems that I wrote, like about when I was raising Isaiah as a kid. Like I got some of those in there, like and even before that, like when I was after, I don't know. I got a lot of old poems. I just put them all together, and I finally got to look through them, and some of the stuff I put in old books, I kind of reorganize them and fix up the art and make it look good. Before, I was just making them off photocopies, trying to put them together like that. But now, with with the computer and the internet, like now I'm able to format them and make them look good and make them in the color and print them up and put a for sale sign on them. And so even though they're old poetry, it's still some old work that's interesting, part of my journey. So yeah, so that's kind of that, and finished up Tales of Scarcity. I think I already talked about that. The second Tales of Scarcity book, which me and my brother co-created, but it's just a lot of work. So I'm finishing up what I started, and the characters and the storylines I totally have. Like, I know the stories are awesome. Like, I really like. The more I think about, like, I really want to do part 2 and like of all these characters, and like, because the story's been getting worked on in my mind for like all these years. So like they're pretty like ready to go out and be really good. Like I think that's what it is. You have to create stories, and then you let them, work on them and then you put it out there when they're ready. Or now, while you're working on them, you're able to add like a storyline here, like. So Tales of Scarcity on that level is actually like really ready in my mind to like go forward with all these ideas and characters and how they work together, and kind of just start spinning the yarn, because the structure's there. There's a structure and there's a character development going on, and the origin stories are already drawn out for half the characters, and the next stories, all these B characters that like were kind of there are like really interesting right now, just because my personal journey kind of added a lot of like reading Nietzsche, or even like reading these psychologist life stories, or Walt Whitman's life story, or seeing Tesla's his biography, adds to these characters that are like scientists or whatever, writers, or just these different characters that are different than me, that I didn't have the information of why their character is the motivation for their character. And the story, like, there's a scientist that's kind of the middle of the storyline of Tales of Scarcity. And I don't have I never was a scientist or anything, and I didn't want to make it a generic Frankenstein guy, or something that's already normal, cliche kind of scientist guy, which he is, but there's more possibilities to a real guy that could be an Einstein type character. But the dynamic of say somebody that created the atom bomb, and then they have it in the world at the beginning. It's all fun and games, and then then it gets used for war, and you just get to see the devastation, and then what really goes through your mind after that, like after you see that if you didn't create the atom bomb, it wouldn't have your input or whatever uh, help make the atom bomb, and if not for you, it would have been delayed. Who knows how long? 10 years maybe, or maybe even never even got it created. So what goes through the mind of a scientist like that. Yeah. So I didn't have the information to put into these characters, and now I do. Just watching all these different people that live their life, as their fulfilled story, even if you can't get into their mind, like kind of just see, quotes here and there. The reason someone would pursue AC power, or how they even get their ideas, all this stuff like that. Like, so what I got to do, so now that I have like ideas of like, oh, okay, I can tell the story like this, or I can, use this as a motivational subplot, or, kind of like love story, even the my personal journey of like, you go through success and failure, and you know perseverance, or lost love, all that stuff. You can actually put that into your characters, to these people, because they all have like, and then with the psychology, they all have their own personal journey of, like, every character has like some time that they maybe were in love or not. So from the young characters, or the old characters, or the robots, or the whoever, they all have some kind of story of their personal life. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Like the Edison and Tesla dynamic, that's an interesting story. Edison, in his own life, in his own world, had his own story, and his own journey, his own accomplishments, his own failures, and Tesla's story mixes in with his. But in Tesla's story, Edison's the bad guy, and Tesla's the good guy. In Edison's story, he's the good guy, and Tesla is just some young guy that tries to come in and becomes a antagonist to Edison. So and then it's interesting. That's what makes it interesting to tell these stories, because you can throw in your take on how people play out, or how these characters would play out, and then you get to put your own story in there. So writing these stories, like, I reread them, and I'm like, all right, like, there's a good foundation of character whatever, to continue that, and that's where Freud and all that stuff comes in, because then you can start adding that stuff in and see why, these other, like, love stories or whatever, why the ego and the id, kind of like, yeah, so it's like really fun to write, or to, at least, I haven't got pen to paper yet, but it's fun to think of what I want to do with these characters next. But at the same time, they're shared characters, and so I don't know how much work I want to put into the scarcity world at age 40. So But that's not really what I want to talk about. What do I want to talk about? Oh yeah. So I'm kind of tired at the moment, but so I've been working at this place. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm in Orville, kind of just finishing up stuff again still, and now I'm working though, so that's going to take up half my time. But I'm I feel like I finished a lot of work that I needed to get done. So I got like 80% done maybe, and that's a lot of work. Like a lot of pages. I finished up like 7 books, and they're almost like 100 pages each. So that's a lot of pages of art, a lot of drawings, a lot of formatting and stuff, coloring, all that, lettering. Oh, it feels like I took the long journey. It's like, fuck, I can't believe like that those books took that long. But it feels good to at least have that done. And along with that was like also like hundreds and hundreds of, like at least a couple hundred, 300, 400 poster art pieces of my work. So I feel pretty good. And then organizing everything. So I don't feel like the last 20 years was a waste of time. As far as my videos and music and stuff, I also got those kind of formatted, and they're still not done. They need money to finish, but you know, still got a lot of songs that like out of that I only got 20% done. Like there's still 80% that I have of music that I have never recorded or done anything with, so that are just as good as any songs that I've ever recorded. But at least I got a couple of good albums that are on the internet. I got to give those away for free so I can make the next couple of albums. Whew. So with Freud and all that stuff like that comes dreams. So the idea of dreams is, I wanted to get to this because it's super tripping me out, and I know I keep getting challenged by powers that be or normal people or all these different groups of people telling me like don't overestimate dreams or whatever. Basically, deja vu stuff, and I have to go back to deja vu because it's like everybody kind of knows what I'm talking about when I say that. But dreams that like that come true, and or not even just that, like it gets crazy. Like I don't even, it's so fucking crazy I don't even want to get into it. But I wanted to talk about man, I might have to go into it tomorrow. I feel like hella tired, I don't know why. Let's see if I can talk about it. Okay, so let me just say the dreams that I've had that were pretty significant, and then I'll go on from there, maybe tomorrow. So the ones that I've had that were significant when I had them, like in my early 20s, because so ever since I was a kid, I've always had these dreams. Nothing cliche. None of these dreams were like, like things you hear on TV or movies or whatever. Like, it's not like that. There's ones that are normal dreams, but then there's ones that are like so vivid or not just vivid, but intricate and has a lot of symbols Um, I don't know. Okay, so since I was a kid, I always try to remember my dreams. I don't know why, but I did. And, you know, even try to remember my memories of, try to. I remember stuff when I was 2 years old, I think, or three, because I think when I was three, is when I moved to San Martin. So around 3 to 4, maybe between age 3 and 4, um, we moved to San Martin, and I remember the apartments before San Martin, and I remember this one memory of eating migas, which is these eggs, scrambled eggs with fried tortillas, and they mix them up, and it's a Mexican Spanish thing, I guess. So I remember, like, I think my dad was in jail or something, I don't know, but I remember my mom not making migas, and then she made migas. She was like, and I was a little fat kid, and my dad was out, he was there, and but I was like, oh, those are my favorite. I haven't had them for a while or whatever. And then so she made a bunch, and I was like, and I ate all kinds. I was eating a bunch of migas. And then I remember walking to the bathroom. My dad was like brushing his teeth or something. I don't know what he was, like, shaving, and then I remember just throwing up all these migas, and that's a memory. And I was like, okay, I don't know how old I was. Obviously, I was speaking and walking, so I don't know. So three, I could have been three. I wasn't in diapers, so. But I do remember another time where I'm pretty sure my dad was in jail at this time. And I remember thinking, like, she would tell me, oh, he's at work or something. I don't know. I thought in my mind he was at work or doing mechanic stuff or something. Something in my mind was always like, oh, he's not here, but he's over there and he's working or something. Because I remember her saying, oh, talk to him on the phone, and she'd hand me this phone, and I would sit on the counter or whatever and on the phone. And man, I think I remember, like, getting bass in the sink. I don't know. That's fit. Anyway, so on the phone, I remember, like, thinking I was talking to him. But then she told me that phone didn't work in the apartments, and that I didn't talk to him or whatever. I don't know. But then I found a photo of me sitting on the counter on the phone, Polaroid. My parents always have, like, hundreds and hundreds of these Polaroids in the suitcase that they've kept throughout the years of the family and everything, and our family. And I'm there with I had kind of long hair. She said she let it grow out till I was 2 or something. I don't know. But she let my hair grow out like a little Indian kid, a little Native American. And it's kind of curly, curly-ish. So, and I had that hair do. So she didn't cut my hair at that time. Because after that, then my hair I didn't grow it out till I was already a teenager. So, but anyway, I was still in diapers, sitting on the counter talking, and there's this, like, fake flower. And that was weird, because I was like, man, I remember, like, talking on the phone. Anyway, so, and I was pretty young, so, and then, what else? I mean, there's a bunch of memories, and then I remember going to, like, I remember being at the apartments. I remember riding the three-wheeler. And when I look at the pictures when I was riding a three-wheeler, because I remember the other kids had a three-wheeler, and I wanted a three-wheeler, because like my brother, like there was some neighbor kids that had like a cool three-wheeler, and I was like, they were like plastic and like, I don't know, probably got them at Kmart or something. I don't know. It was like, it was a cool thing. It was like getting a bike, you know, like, I don't remember any bikes back then, but I remember the three-wheelers. And then, so I got one. I don't know who put it together. Somebody put it together. And then, I don't know what happened with it, but yeah, that's crazy, you know, like, well, and I remember at the apartments, there was a Christmas. This was one of the memories too. So I remember there was a Christmas, and I remember everybody going out into the apartment complex, and there was like some Santa Claus thing. Like there was like these two levels of like where you go up to one and you ask them for something, and then you go to the other side in the line, and then he's supposed to give you your present. So I remember being like, yeah, okay, what am I gonna ask him for? You know, like what? And so I was thinking, you know, like, what could I ask him for? What's cool? What's cool? And so I was like, and I remember seeing on a commercial or something, like, there was this Batman car, and it had Batman and Robin, and I was like, I'm gonna ask him for that, you know, like, because at the time, like, that was the coolest they got, like, a Batmobile, you know, like, all awesome looking. So I asked them that, and I was like, all right, now I'm gonna get it. And so I got to the other side, and they gave me like this little stuffed animal that, like, you know, that you get for 25 cents in the machine. And I remember like going and getting the thing, and I was like, what's this? This ain't the Batmobile. And then I walked away, you know, we walked away, and I was like, because I was like, hey, you know, all right, where's my Batmobile? Or, you know, I was like, I think I said something to him, like, what's this? Or, I don't know. So we walked away, and I was like, disappointed, but then I was thinking, like, oh, well, maybe, you know, it's going to come you know, as a present under the tree or whatever. And it never came, and I was like, oh, hella disappointed, because I was like, what the, you know, like, what the hell? So I remember that. I have that memory. So I know I have old memories of when I was a kid. But during that time, I remember trying to remember my dreams during those days. Because I would talk to my brother. We had bunk beds, and I would always like talk to him. I think we had bunk beds. But yeah, I think we had bunk beds there and in San Martin. So when we first moved there and got a room or whatever, and we had to share a room, that's when I was a little kid. And well, you know, I was a little kid in both of them, but that was when I was like, me and him started fighting more. But not fighting more. I don't know. I'll tell you the next story later. But like, you pushed me off the top bunk. I don't know. I fell off. I remember just falling. There was a few of those. I remember having to sleep in there by myself. Or I don't know what the hell it was. It was like, I think he always got the top bunk and I always got the bottom bunk. So I would kick the top bunk because I was, first of all, just, you know, being bored and like, you know, playing with my feet. So he'd get mad, and then I'd think it was funny because we were supposed to go to sleep and there was nothing else to do other than bug your brother that has a cool top bunk and you got the bottom bunk, and you're like, forget this guy, you know, like, why does this guy get the top bunk all the time? So that was my way of bugging him. And then he would, you know, slap me around or put, you know, he'd get his revenge either that night or another day. He'd, you know, slap me in the head or something. So so it escalated as we got older, but because I don't remember really fighting in the apartments, but we did talk, and I remember remember him telling me scary stories or something, and so I was like, oh, kind of, I don't know, because I remember thinking that was a dream that he was telling me this, or it was a story that he told me, but I think it was a story that he told me, but I remember always trying to think of my dreams during those years, and I was like, and trying to remember what they were and what, So basically, what I'm trying to say is I always was interested in dreams and trying to remember, and experimenting on myself of why they're important or what they mean. And then let's see. Okay, I'll go through this. I don't really want to talk about a long dream, so the first dream that I remember actually remembering, having a deja vu, but remembering exactly that dream, was when I moved to Oroville, and I was in a math class. And before this, that was 13. I was 13 at the time, in beginning of 7th grade. And before all that, I was like I said, I was experimenting with my dreams. And I was one of those kids that was kind of shy, hanging on your mom's leg and stuff. And I remember going through the supermarket one time, and so many memories, a lot of memories. But I wasn't a super outgoing kid and whatever. I was a thinking kid. I always, I spent a lot of time alone playing with my GI Joes, and thinking about life or whatever. Being in the backyard, checking out the animals and butterflies and birds and insects and all that stuff. So I was a thinking kid. So like I said, I was trying to remember them all. I don't know if anything came about in those dreams before that, but I do remember thinking okay, trying to pinpoint a exact moment where that dreams come true, or dreams you can foresee this, pretty much see the future. And this is before I was super Bible guy. I was knew about God, and my uncle told me about it. The Bible was the book of God and all this stuff like that. So I was interested in it, and prayed in Jesus' name, and studied with Jehovah's Witnesses here and there with the neighbors, and but I never we never belonged to church or nothing, so I didn't have religious context of dreams or nothing. And then, so when I was 13, I was in this classroom, and it was all kind of white yellow classroom, and bright, and it was a math class, and I was writing on something, and I was what? And I remember thinking I remember this dream, I remember having this dream, being in the new place, and I didn't know anybody, and that exact moment, in the whole room, because I remember that dream. I remember having the dream and thinking what was that? I don't remember what. That wasn't in my because I had lived at San Martin for so long, and same people, same school, that was not even part of my mind, that I would be in a place where I didn't know anybody, or in a different environment and all this stuff. So when I had that dream, I was oh man, that's that dream. I remember having this dream, because it was kind of your memory's fresh, so you don't have like all these, like I can remember the exact dream. And that's when I was like, wow, and I was having this moment by myself. Nobody knew what I was thinking, or like I was just looking like, whoa, and thinking to myself like, man, I can't believe that just happened. Like, and I know I know for a fact that I had that dream because I remember having that dream and thinking about that dream before this moment happened. And now that it happened, what do I like? What does that make reality? And that's where that's been my basis of this dream stuff for a while. Like the importance of dreams and being able to see the future or nothing. I didn't think I was like, oh, I'm special and I'm the only one that gets these dreams, or because we all have deja vu. We all have dreams. So I heard people talk about this stuff, kind of not really talk about that, not really like in that context or nothing, but I didn't think I was alone. And ever since then, like even Bible stuff, like I always ask people their opinion and their thoughts and Bible stuff, just to accumulate information of what other people think. So the same thing with dreams. I'll always ask people what their dreams, what do they think about dreams, if they ever had dreams that came true, or deja vu, what do they think about like this and that, like. So I never studied it in books, but I would always ask other people, and so by the time this happened, it was like, okay, like I wasn't a talkative person before that. So I really ended, during my teenager years, I was more inquisitive on other people, teachers or mentors or uncles or whoever, some people older than me that my brothers and cousins, like girlfriends or whatever, asking them questions about their ideas of life or whatever. So so that was a moment that was very crazy for me, and since then I've always kind of tried to figure out what's going on with that. Not trying to figure it out, but just having that in my memory or in my mind, where I'm pretty open to see what see if it happens again, or see if I can, if they mean anything. And then another one was later in life, but this one was very strong too. And I remember like having this dream, going into a room, and through this time, this was like in, I don't know, Palermo days, like so it was like during like 16, 15, 16, 17, maybe even 16. I would say 15, 16. Yeah, maybe 17, somewhere there. And I remember like asking like or thinking in my mind like, so I'm walking in the room and I'm like, hey, saying hi to everybody, and like, hey, walking like I know everybody. They're drinking beer. I don't know what they were drinking, but kind of like a party environment, like a get together thing. And then saying hi to everyone, saying hi back, and I remember thinking they were my friends, and like I know these people. And then I wake up and I'm like, whoa, I didn't know like, who were those people? I don't know those people. And then in my 20s, so actually I don't know when I had that dream. It was around the young teenager years, and then in my 20s, I don't know how old I was. It could have been 8. I don't know. But I remember having that moment happen again, and there were the hell of people I knew, and that was like why I was saying hi to everyone and being like cool with everyone. We're all cool. It was like my brother's friends, like my friends too, but Vogue, Sherry, his wife, but like it was like Jeff and Rob and Ed and all these group of people that were at the continuation school we went to, and And I was like, damn, like, and that was another one that was like, wow, dude, I remember that dream, and that moment happened. And I had that dream before, like it would happen, like it was a thing I remember. It wasn't, sometimes you get deja vu and you're like, whoa, something that was, a weird feeling, a moment that like something, some connection with the universe or whatever. But no, it was a dream that I had, and then years later, that exact dream came true. So those are the two ones that I can like say for sure that like, hey man, those were things that happened and I remembered them and then they came true. So that's kind of how I feel about dreams. I'll go into some more stuff later, but right now I'm kind of tired and I do need to talk about more stuff. So I don't like making videos at the house, at my mom's house anymore, just because I hate indoor stuff. But we'll see. So hopefully I'm trying to make one tomorrow. Today was my first day off. My uncle passed away. My Uncle Chichi. Today was his funeral. I didn't get to go, and man, I feel weird because I've been missing like funerals and I've been missing like birthdays. Like today is also my niece's birthday. So I've been like with all this drama, like I feel like I'm getting put through this like hamster wheels, or I can't really accomplish like my real, like what normal things I would normally do, like actually hang out with people I know, or hang out with my family, or talk to old girlfriends, or meet somebody. But I hate the feeling that I'm fucking being watched, or like being tabs are kept on me, or all these things are out and about my life. Personally, like going out and seeing, having strangers have an opinion on my life or whatever, some shit that I don't even know about. So all this stuff has been getting to me for like a few years. And the more I accomplish, the more I finish my own work, like the more freer I am to think about this stuff, or act on it or talk about it. Or I feel, like at least I finished what I started, and then like so I don't know why that is. I don't know why I felt bogged down, felt it was important to finish my art before I can process this other stuff. But as I'm processing it, things are happening. Been happening these last since I left 2015 to the Bay Area, and all this stuff has been happening in my my extended family, my uncles and aunts and everybody, and a lot of important people passed away, and then I'm not able to like my grandma passed away and I wasn't able to talk about it. I wasn't able to go on and talk to anybody in my family that was close to me or whatever and express my feelings towards my grandma, my last grandparent that was alive. And then, yeah, so it's really weird, like my Uncle Chichi, loved him, he was a funny guy, I could always talk smack about everyone that I've ever met, but these are my family that I grew up with, and the stories where you guys argued or whatever are actually funny ones, because they're just you're a little kid fighting with your uncle about what TV channel to watch, ends up being a funny one. So that's kind of how I feel about my family that helped raise me through my life. He was a really cool uncle. He was always at my grandma's house, so he was always like part of the family, part of the group. So not going to his funeral, I slept till like 2. I keep thinking like, man, when I pass, like, oh, people go to my funeral, they don't have to cry or nothing or feel bad. But man, so I feel I have the sense of guilt and like